We're live. Are you asleep? Oh, that is not right.
I fell asleep. It's not my fault.
That's what he does. It's what he does.
This is only going to be 14 minutes long, right?
Yes, exactly.
Actually, 14 minutes for us, 8 for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dig a Little Deeper.
I should play our intro.
It's where we don't have an intro for this show.
We don't have an intro for this show.
It's where we get together and talk about Disney attractions, and we go just a little bit deeper.
And this week, our featured attraction is the one, the only, considered by most learned people in the world to be the greatest themed attraction ever created in the history of mankind. Launcher of not only attractions around the world, some of which have gone in many different directions, but a whole film franchise, cruises, merchandise, perhaps the biggest attraction ever created in every way.
Hey, I read that book.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So we're going to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean today. And to do that, we have myself, Doobie Mosley, the biggest Pirates fan you will ever meet. To my left, the lovely, talented, beautiful Rebecca Mosley.
Hi.
Up in the upper mid corner of your screen is the wench herself, Shelly May.
Hey, guys.
And down below him, the pooped pirate.
Yo.
Wait a second. Is he the poop deck correspondent for Laughing Place?
There we go. There's his official title.
That's your. And let's see. And we're live, which means that A, we have no script, we have no production value, we have no effort whatsoever, but B, you get to participate. So please use those comments to let us know what you want to talk about. If you have questions, if you have your own thoughts on pirates, if you'd like us to perform certain tricks, if you'd like to see me stand on my head or rap Hamilton or both at the same time, let us know in those comments. This is really annoying. So I hope you like my goofy pirate hat. It's gone. And
here, I'll take it.
Okay. Here we go with Pirates of the Caribbean, which opened on March 18th, 1967 in Disneyland. Walt had this idea. Jeremiah, do you have any background on pirates, really, or we don't need to waste time on that?
So Pirates of the Caribbean was the last attraction that Walt actually worked on. Before the New York World's Fair, the New Orleans Square area was built at Disneyland. When they came up with the idea that It's a Small World attraction for the New York World's Fair, and they went and they saw how great it was. Walt pretty much called back and said, okay, everything we're doing for this wax walkthrough for Pirates, scrap it. We are now going to make a boat ride. What you see is the upper level, and then they had to dig a lot deeper to make the show building or make the entrance into the show building go underneath the train tracks. So when you go down those two drops, yes, Disneyland has two drops. You actually are going through those caves, and as you pass through those caves, you're going underneath the train track to a building that was built outside the berm, which, if memory serves me correctly, was the first attraction to be built outside the berm. I don't know if that's
Indy. Yeah.
No, Indy was like 2 years later. So Walt talked to his Imagineers. They all came up with these great ideas, and Exitencio came up with the, I would say, second most famous Disney park song behind It's a Small World,
which would be
Yo-Ho.
Yo-Ho, lyrics by Exitencio.
Would you put that as, like, when you think of Disneyland theme songs?
It's painful as it is to say.
It's a Small World and Yo-Ho right there.
I would put Small World as the clear number 1, Yo-Ho is the clear number 2, Grim Grinning Ghost is the clear number 3, and that's where it starts to tighten up some.
Okay.
Yeah. So he turned to Exitencio, who at the time was an animator at the Walt Disney Studios, and said, hey, write a song for me. And X knocked it out of the park, and then he went on to do Grim Grinning Ghost and my favorite, If You Had Wings theme songs. Yes, exactly. Walt didn't live to see the opening of the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, but he saw one of the last things that he actually did experience was a full walkthrough of the attraction that was set up at the Disney Studios before they trekked it all out to Disneyland.
He saw
And
see the auction scene completed from what Alice has shared over the years.
So lots of Imagineers obviously worked on this ride, but I think the one who's given probably the most credit is Mark Davis. Would you agree? Mark Davis would be the primary on this. Alice, of course, worked a lot on the costumes and has some great stories, which I'm not going to repeat one here.
and Claude Coates is given a lot of acknowledgement for the set design per se.
And Sam McKim.
Yeah,
he was a map maker, and so they drew on his talents for some of the early souvenir. Some of the early souvenir programs for it, and then also Walt wanted to have an arcade because he had fond memories of arcades when he was a young boy, and so one of the things that the Pirates had with it when it opened was this small arcade. I think it was like 12 to 18 machines. It was a small number of machines, and things where you would they would drop in and pick stuff up and that kind of thing. And then he and X together ended up crafting the fortune teller cards, and they also worked by Sam was really impressed with Mark's sketches, and so he teamed with X, and X wrote piratey sayings. And then they came up with souvenir postcard sets that you could also get at the little pirate-themed gift shop right outside the exit.
And the postcards, actually, they had a vending machine for that. A couple of years ago at D23, when they showcased some of the pirate stuff, they had the actual vending machine. Sadly, not vending the cards that at this time go on eBay for quite a pretty penny.
You mentioned it in your opening remarks, Jeremiah, but one of the things that really amazed me when they first had one of the first like big AP merchandise events was for Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was, my memory is that the ticket price was around $50 to $65, somewhere in that price range. 65 was
the first thing that came to my mind.
And
it was up there for us.
Yeah, and what it would do is you would see some sort of presentation on the attraction about the attraction, and then you would also ride the attraction. And there was a lot of limited edition merchandise connected with the event. And one of the things I discovered at this event was the notion that Walt had not seen the ride's completion. It hadn't really been something I necessarily, sat down and thought about. Oh, hey, this ride opened in '67. I hadn't really kind of pieced it together. And so just the idea that, to me, like this quintessential Walt Disney creation, he actually never, got to see it completed. It's just a bizarre. It's just, like I say, it was one of those things where at the event when Cynthia Harris mentioned it, it really surprised me. Were you at that event, Jeremiah?
I'm pretty sure I was. I went to the early events. Keep talking. I'm going to go look for something.
Okay, no worries. Did we introduce Shelley? I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Okay,
what I wanted to do, though, as we usually do at the start of these, is kind of talk about our own personal feelings on the attraction. So Shelley, I mean, is this one of your favorites, or is this just, a waste of time, a waste of 8 minutes?
No. I like this one a lot. I think I told the story last week about how on my first visit, I got really nervous because the boats came back empty to the load station. And I was like, Dad, what happened to all those people? And they were like, got them. Hopefully they won't get us. And I'm like, all the boats are empty. And he's like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And that just completely freaked me out. But no, I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite attractions. I love all the things they've tried to do over the years. Try to spice it up a little bit. And, like Mermaids. I really liked the Mermaids when they were there, but
how about you, Jeremy? What's your feeling on this attraction?
Oh.
Interesting.
My feeling on this attraction.
I love pirates. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. When I can remember it as being among my favorites whenever we would visit. Growing up, we would only visit. I say only. We would visit Disneyland 3 or 4 times a year. What is?
It's
here.
Nothing to do with pirates.
I'm so confused.
I don't have a pirate doll, and while I'm away, Ahsoka can help.
Oh, I see. Okay. So one of the things I can remember about is that you would have a bit of a wait for it, but then it would be this lovely, lengthy indoor attraction. And oftentimes in the summer, it'd be 98 or 100 degrees in Orange County. And so I enjoyed the nice respite in the attraction. And I always was just so confused by that. And by the like, there was this restaurant and all the different, it was like, okay, so we went down, and then where exactly are we, and how did there was just this little building, and how, all of that. And I loved it. It was one of those attractions that just really captured my imagination. And I did it multiple times. Anytime we would go, it was one of those where we would try and hit it multiple times during our trip.
Ahsoka? So my feeling is not quite as strong as you guys. I think I've come to a conclusion as to one of the reasons Pirates and Small World don't really connect with me. You think it's over, but it's another 10 minutes waiting for the boats to stop being backed up until you can get off. And that is just so annoying.
I enjoy that part. That's like the part
I like it. Like, you're just bobbling along.
I delight in that. It's kind of like the credits of a movie. It's like your moment of transition out of your movie experience is now over, and you can slowly transition to reality.
So Pirates of the Caribbean, I acknowledge, is an incredible attraction. Great story, animatronics, presentation, spared no expense. It's an incredible attraction. I find it boring, really boring. I can skip it every single time.
He's wrong.
I'd much rather go on Haunted
Very
Mansion.
Wrong.
Well, I find it boring for 2 reasons. One, it's boring, but 2, pirates is just not my thing. I've never been a pirate guy. If it was the same attraction going through dinosaurs or ghosts, maybe I'd enjoy it. But I fully acknowledge it is a great attraction, and I am in the wrong. And so I'm happy to be discussing it, and I have no intention of bringing down this conversation. Unlike other things where I disagree and I think I'm right. And this one, I fully concur. I'm wrong. It's just my personal opinion. What about you, Jeremiah?
Well, thank you for indulging me, as I couldn't find the thing I was looking for. So that was pointless. Pirates in California is probably, it's the most amazing attraction. Like that, when you think about where, if not for pirates, we wouldn't have many of the attractions we have today.
Oh boy, here we go.
But I like Tubi. Sadly, I'm at the point in my life where I don't have to do pirates every time I go. I know. But I have 2 reasons for this. The first reason, and we talked about this before, is for the 40th anniversary, my routine would be drive for 2 hours, get the voucher for the card, ride pirates, and then go and look at the construction for Indiana Jones. So at least 30 days in a row of pirates. So at that point, I was kind of like, okay, I've done this quite a bit. And then when I was a cast member, they used to do attraction 5Ks. And I did 5K on pirates, which was 9 times not getting off.
No, that'd be cool.
Nope. You think it's cool. By the 3rd time, you're like, okay. And by the 5th time, I'm noticing a catch-up packet next to the lift at the end that somebody hucked. Or I'm noticing there's the exit door that's in the corner that I never noticed. I appreciate the attraction. Being away from California, I definitely, each time I go, I will ride it once, but it's not the I run to first attraction.
I always prefer the Magic Kingdom Pirates to Disneyland's Pirates because it's shorter, so I get off quicker.
I love Disneyland's Pirates. I'm with Rebecca. The first time I rode it, I didn't realize there were 2 drops.
Mm-hmm.
There was one drop that took you underneath the railroad because that's like the thing everybody talks about. But I didn't, and it was like, I got off and I was like, what? That was so different. And where were we? And I don't understand where all of this fit into. It was fun. That was literally like my thought process.
My favorite part of Pirates is the Blue Bayou. One of the unique things about this attraction is the building that encompasses it also encompasses a restaurant, which is really cool. So when you're sitting at the Blue Bayou, you get to watch Pirates and vice versa and beg for food and such.
People throw rolls to you.
Throw me a roll. I love the Blue Bayou for that reason. The indoor-outdoor seating as you watch the boats go by, and it doesn't feel like you're sitting there watching an attraction. It feels like you're on the bayou and boats are floating by, and that's pretty cool.
Is that one of those things that didn't work really? I mean, no, because usually when Disney does something and it's successful and people enjoy it and all that kind of thing, then you would expect to see it at their other parks. Have they repeated that really? I mean,
yes.
they did. Epcot has Mexico with the El Rio del Tiempo, which is now La Gran Fiesta. So you had it brought to Epcot. Do they do it at other parks?
Paris has it.
Traveler?
Paris has Pirates. They have the Blue Bayou, which is now Jack Sparrow themed, and Shanghai, when they opened their Pirates, they built a quick service, so it's not a full sit down. That's just like the Bayou. But yeah, I don't think, this goes back to even when we were talking about Indiana Jones, let's stick as many things in one area as we possibly can. I think the restaurant was needed for that area because if you look at it, when they created Norland Square, they removed the pancake house. So they needed something more right there, and Blue Bayou just worked out well.
Yeah, it's been one of those things that's kind of fascinating to me when they brought it to Walt Disney World, what elements they decided to use and not use with that transition.
So Pirates, as we said, opened in '67 in Disneyland. In 1973, it opened at Disney World because they knew when they created Disney World in the Magic Kingdom that fans were going to want the pirate attraction, and so they made sure it was a part of the. Are you correcting me, Jeremiah?
It didn't actually come until 73.
It came in 73, but the park opened in 71. They did not initially put the pirate there. What?
Let's jump in the Wayback Machine to last week when we were talking about Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and the Western River Expedition that was originally supposed to be Walt Disney World or Magic Kingdom's version of Pirates set in the Old West. So everybody, back when Walt was the amazing showman and would do hour-long commercials that ABC and NBC would pay for, one of his last ones was all about the pirates. So when Walt Disney World opened, everybody around the world had seen Walt talk about the pirates and, talking to the ambassador. And, well, you went down a waterfall to get into the pirates. How do you get out? You go up a waterfall. So they actually, I don't want to say fast-tracked, but more like shoehorned in that attraction. So anybody that's been to the Magic Kingdom has walked through Adventureland and all of a sudden come along. There we go.
Walt and Blaine Gibson and Julie Rhyme, right?
Yes. That's actually the World's Fair special. It wasn't about pirates because he talks about everything.
Yeah. All right. Fine. I went with the first one I found. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
No. You're right. I was wrong. It wasn't just the pirates. That was the one where he's talking about the Haunted Mansion. And he's showing, Blaine hands him the life mask of Abraham Lincoln before he had the beard. And if you ever watch it when you go to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, or you see it on, I don't think it's on Disney Plus yet, when Walt hands the life mask back to Blaine like grabs it from him because it almost looks like Walt's about to drop it. It's one of my favorite things.
Thank you, Daniel. The Disneyland 10th anniversary special.
Yeah, the 10th annual, right?
I'm not. As much as I trust you, Jeremiah, I trust the guy even more.
Hey, all I can remember is they talked about the mansion and everything. But yeah, they shoehorned in Pirates of the Caribbean as quickly as possible. They realized that they didn't have the space for it, so that's why it loses the caves, or a majority of the caves, and we lose some of the vignettes. But they kept the core attraction together. And when Mark Davis created the attraction, because he had it so it's the caves are first and you see the skeletons, and then you go into the pirates actual area, and then you go up the waterfall, because he had to fill a show building that was being designed as he was doing the attraction. Out here they just cut up his plans, but when you go to one of the next pirates that open, they actually got it right, where you see the pirates and then you transition into their final resting place.
And the next one to open was 1983, which would have been the opening of Tokyo Disneyland. I've not had the pleasure of going to Tokyo Disneyland. Have you? You've been there, Rebecca.
But I don't believe I got to experience pirates.
Shelley, have you been to Tokyo Disneyland?
No.
Jeremiah, have you been to Tokyo Disneyland?
Yes, but I didn't get to experience pirates.
Seriously?
Really?
It was closed for refurbishment because Tokyo does this horrible thing where they shut down attractions for 3 weeks to do refurbishments.
Aw,
I was incorrect. It was Disneyland Paris that got the storyline finally correct. Tokyo Disneyland, I actually watched a video of it earlier because I've never experienced it and I've never watched. It is Disneyland's version, almost an exact carbon copy.
Right down to the you.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
It's
so
when I feel like that's why I'm unsure whether or not I experienced it, because it's one of those things where my understanding is it's so similar. I guess I'm not surprised that I don't recall, because perhaps I did, but since it was so similar, it didn't just stick with me in the same way as my other experiences.
Doobie, do you have those pictures I sent you?
Of course I do, Jeremiah. Am
Yeah.
I ever lacking for preparation?
And Jeremiah has also visited I don't know if you guys know this, but Jeremiah has visited other Disney theme parks around the world. And so now he will share with us his globe-trotting wisdom.
What do you want me to show, Jeremiah? Too bad you're so pixely, we can't see what that says.
I know. It's
Are
so
you
sad.
on Wi-Fi? You've never been so bad.
You're really pixelated, but so
We are in the process of replacing our network here. Plus, the storms here are, always doing great. There's the original photo, the oldest one in there. That's very like, hi there. I love when you do that one. Thanks, Doobie. So there's 2 photos in there. That is June 7th, 1985. And that was before they built the bridge. Hi, Doobie.
Wrong. Okay.
So this entire queue is to get into Pirates of the Caribbean.
No way.
Bonkers.
Yeah. This was before they built the bridge. That came later in the 80s as they were heading into Phantasmic time. That is all queued to get into Pirates.
Do they know what's inside the building?
And then do you have the other picture that is similar to that one? Without the people in it?
Keep talking. Don't wait for me.
Okay.
I feel dead air.
So yeah, that was, in 1985, no fast passes. That was summertime. That is what the Pirates of the Caribbean in Tokyo Disneyland looks like. Very similar. They took just the exact same thing. The only difference, if you watch the video and you've been on the Pirates in Disneyland, you'll notice that there isn't large distances in between the vignettes. There's just one drop, and as soon as you hit that drop, you are at the beach scene. You jump into the skeleton at the wheel. You see the drunk pirates. For some reason, I don't remember the captain's quarter scene, but then you jump into the treasure scene, right into the Wicked Winch scene, and every scene follows in order. Tokyo, though, does still... They changed over to red from a couple of years ago, so she's there. But one of the things Tokyo's didn't change, that Disneyland and Disney World changed many, many years ago, is in the chase scene, the pirates are still chasing the girls.
So that's, I was going to get to that soon. So what's interesting to me about Pirates is there another attraction that's been repeated around the country that's had as drastic a changes as pirates, in your opinion? Between
no.
the standard, between the North American parks in Tokyo versus Paris versus Shanghai, major differences. So what's the big difference in Paris, Rebecca? Shelley?
I've never been to Paris.
Jeremiah?
Can we make this longer each time, please? Like,
We can
Sure.
ask my dog. I can
Yeah, we can. Start polling other people.
I know. Phone a friend. Hey, have you been to Disneyland Paris? Disneyland Paris, because that was Tony Baxter's dream. Like, Disney's Animal Kingdom was Joe Rohde's. Tony Baxter got to create Disneyland Paris the way he wanted. So he went in and created the ultimate version of Pirates. It has a lagoon. It has Skull Rock from Peter Pan. It transitions very well. They're Adventureland. And then, of course, it has sword fighting pirates.
Which look remarkably like American Adventure now that I look at it.
Probably was. They actually have changed them over the years. But their pirates, you start up in a fort and you see the Wicked Witch shooting. Thank you, Daniel. As you see the Wicked Witch shooting, the storyline is the Wicked Witch hit the fort, and you're going down the waterfall that is caused by the Wicked Witch shooting and destroying part of the building. And then you head in, and their ride overall is very similar in general to the Disneyland and Magic Kingdom and Tokyo, I guess. But they have some great dark scenes. There's one scene that has a octopus, much like Goonies. Never mind. But if you do want to see, go on, Doobie.
I'm just saying, I've seen Goonies. I don't remember the octopus.
They cut it out.
Oh.
But they talk about it at the end of the film when the parents all come and rescue him. Data goes, and there was an octopus when they first went down the water slides. Dig a little deeper, off topic. When they went down the water slides and they end up in the lake, and then they see the pirate ship, One-Eyed Willie's ship, which was the first time they saw it. The director wouldn't let the kids see that set until they actually splashed down. So the shock in their face is real. They had an octopus attack them that looked very much like the squid in the original scene of 20,000 Leagues. Very poor. And then they had to redo it too. But in Goonies, they just cut it out.
Is there anything you don't know, Jeremiah?
I don't know where my CD is from the Pirates of the Caribbean event that I was looking for.
Do we have a picture of one? Didn't I send you a picture? I think I sent Doobie a picture of ours.
Did you?
Did I? Sent you that.
It has the giant fold-out map. The best thing about the CD, it was limited, and that was probably one of the first times where I actually saw people hawking CDs in line because you could buy them during the day, and they were sold out by the event. But people would have like 3 of them, and they'd be selling for like $100 in line to other people.
Speaking of that event, and we touched on that event a little bit. I think it's worth mentioning. I hope we can get back to it in general, but that was an event that went so poorly that Disneyland, yes. I've got the right event here, right? Disneyland proactively refunded everyone who went to the event.
Oh, wow.
Pre-event, yes.
And
they contacted this fledgling website called Laughing Place.
While we were on vacation in Walt Disney World.
To give us this official statement/interview indicating their apologies for how poorly it went and to let everyone know, all the fans know, they'll be getting a full refund.
So it ended up cutting into about a half a day of our Walt Disney World trip as we were kind of playing phone tag for a bit with Anaheim, trying to get the content that they wanted out there about what they were happening.
I mean, great for us.
Yeah, I was gonna pull up real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me see.
The other thing about that CD, the insert is a map, and it's got the lyrics and all the details, but it is so large, it's hard to close the CD and keep it closed because the paperwork was so much in there.
I found our report from way back when, and the opening line is, on Saturday, May 20th, Disneyland held a special event to celebrate Pirates of the Caribbean, perhaps the greatest theme park attraction ever created. Unfortunately, many people are sure to remember this event for one thing: the problems. The merchandising end of the event had problems so severe, Disneyland chose to refund the admission price for all attendees. Guests arrived for registration Saturday morning as early as 2 a.m., and the line eventually stretched from the entrance to Harbor Boulevard. And then we went on to talk about how you'd enter.
I enjoy the picture of the bag at the bottom too.
Yeah, I know. That nice little thing in there. But what would happen was, when you entered the Opera House, your list was stamped with a number and a time. So that way they knew when you had arrived, so that the people in line behind you supposedly couldn't buy what you. And the reason why I say supposedly is because I actually know somebody who bought an item, and then when they went back later to pick up that item, it had been sold to somebody else who had returned to pick it up before. So there was a lot. I mean, the confusion was crazy. And then there was a part of the event was that you could have there was a presentation and then this ride on. And people were so concerned about making sure they got their merchandise that they skipped the panel and didn't go to the panel or the attraction thing waiting for their merchandise, which in some cases they end up getting, in other cases they didn't end up getting. Some people ended up coming back the next day to try and pick it up, at which point some people were told yes, some people were told no. It was really quite the mess. And the visuals, when you would go to the merchandise pickup area, it was just bags and bags of stuff, because what they would try and do is gather up all the items for a particular order and put it in a large bag and then like number it with that, kind of in the same way that you would remember when you would do package pickup. Yeah. They would grab your merchandise, put it in a large bag, and then put your tag on it. And then it was pretty much that similar system, but it couldn't handle the enormous number that were coming in right at that moment. I have a very weird policy when it comes to, I don't wait in line to buy stuff. So I didn't, and I ended up buying 2 items that when we got there, I was able to just kind of fill out the form and get. So I have like this pin from the event, and this was probably just given to us. I don't even, like it was one of those probably came with the event things. I don't even know anymore. But I have that pin, and then the key book thing they gave to all. I think this was something that they gave to everybody in attendance, along with the sheet music for Yoho. What you were given.
I've never seen that key.
Okay, so is this from? Am I mixing up? No, this is from that event. I'm almost 100% sure.
I have that somewhere because it's rolled up really tight.
Yes.
But the key I never saw.
The key you didn't see.
No. And I'm actually I have the artwork.
This says the map, the Pirates of the Caribbean skeleton key and box. I guess these were the items that event attendees either got in your registration package or late, except for Jeremiah, or later on that evening. It was a map, a Pirates of the Caribbean VR CD-ROM, a Pirates of the Caribbean skeleton key with event logo and date on the box, a button with the Pirates pledge, and a paper Pirates hat. And at the end of the event that they held, they had everybody get up and put one hand over your eye like you were a pirate, because you're a pirate, and with your little patched eye. And then they would say this pledge of allegiance to the Pirates of the Caribbean near the rivers of America, and where it's public, our riches stand. One attraction underground. It's not visible, with mutiny and tattoo just.
Okay. I didn't go to the event then.
Okay.
That you would remember.
So this event started off with
Was this the 33rd anniversary event?
This was the one that was held on March 20th.
May 20th.
I'm sorry, May 20th. Of when? Let's see. I'm scrolling to the bottom to find the date. I don't have the date at the bottom of this.
It sounds like a doozy.
It was an amazing event. I mean, I felt bad for the drama with all the merchandise because the event itself was amazing. Around 7:00, they let us into the Fantasyland Theater, and it was enormous. this enormous Pirates of the Caribbean thing was hanging on the curtain in the back of at the center of the stage, and off to the left was this older man just in the rocking chair with the corn cob.
Oh, creepy.
And like the guy from the boat, right? When you're first getting on the ride, there it is. When you're first getting on the ride, this event was from the year 2000. And then all of a sudden, so we're all there, and they had like those sugar cookies. They had sugar cookies with the event logo on it and punch. And so we were snacking and enjoying treats, and everybody was sharing the horror stories of merchandise gained or not gained. And we were, and then all of a sudden there was this crack of thunder, and the guy in the chair ran across the stage, and then this thing, it was actually animated. Beware of evil, it was all the dialogue of the skull from the attraction. And what was super cool for a lot of us Disney fans was they had pulled, don't put that up yet. Okay. They had pulled Maynard, cast member Maynard, who's a fan favorite, to do the voice of this skeleton. They had done the voice of this skeleton. And so that was
Doobie, I also just sent you something.
Okay.
And so they had this going on, and then they had Disneyland Entertainment cast members come out, and they did like a live performance of Yo-Ho, and there was this whole skit regarding the salty pirates and whatnot, and then they brought out their prisoners, and it was these legendary Imagineers. You had Sam McKim, Ex Atencio, Alice Davis, Harriet Burns, and then modern Imagineers, Kim Irvine and Bob Baranek. And they brought them out as if they had been entrapped by these pirates. And the fact that they were playing along with this, to me, was just the best. And then Cynthia Harris came on, and she talked about no, not that picture, that one up there. And she talked about how sad she was that she couldn't attend the event. And then when they panned out from her, it was this shot. She was the Disneyland president at the time. And it was such a magnificent move, because it was one of those moments in time that I think really began to shift people's feet, like the Disneyland fans' view of her, because this is something you do when you're having a good time at your job. If you're a Disney cast member, you figure out a way to do that, right? You figure out a way to take a selfie of yourself there. Or it's just one of those things where, like I say, as a fan, we were all like, oh, I wish I could do that too. You have the coolest job ever. And you know it because you're doing that, And so it was really cool. And then the event itself, having each of them share stories about what it was like for them, like X talking about how initially he was brought in as the story writer on it. And so he was learning kind of piratey jargon and trying to get into a pirate mode. And then as he's working on that, he says, hey, Walt, what about a song? And Walt's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, write one. It's just the way that the interplay between this creative team was super cool. And Mark had not passed away, I don't think, too far before this.
Right.
And so Alice talking about the craftsmanship of her husband at this event was super powerful. Yeah, it was only 4 months after he had passed away. And she was talking about what a tremendous artist, I'm sorry, I'm talking like 8,500 miles an hour, but what a tremendous artisan he was, what a tremendously creative draftsman he was, and how a lot of people, when they sit down to do art, if they're drawing a person, you start with the head and then you kind of develop from the body. And she said Mark would start with the knee and like develop it out from there. And she just, like I say, the stories, if you can find, we have a video that I'm gonna have to work on getting up to YouTube. I don't know if there's very many videos out there of this event, but it was an amazing evening. And then after, we got to hear all these firsthand stories, and they shared some clips, which back then, this was before Walt Disney Treasures had come out, really, and before a lot of this stuff was easily accessible. So seeing this footage of Walt and seeing all these, like those books that came out just recently of Mark Davis's artwork, a lot of those images were shared at the event. For example, this one that Doobie's about to share with you guys. At the event, we got to see this artwork, and Bob Baranick shared that when they did that refurbishment where they removed the women and the men chasing, where they changed that up, that they had tried to get this artwork in there, that they were trying to figure out a way to work yet another of Mark's scenes in. And they showed some of the other elements that they'd been able to finally realize of Mark Davis's work that hadn't previously been a part of the attraction. And so just to kind of hear all of that and the camaraderie and all of that was amazing. And then it was followed, and then we got to ride the attraction. And while we were at the scene with the jail keeper, on the left were the Imagineers that we had just heard speak. And so there you are, you're at the end of having been on this attraction, and they had sprinkled in live actors throughout the ride. So you'd have these, and it was funny because it made you realize just how well done the AAs are, I think, because it was like, wait, that one's not real. You know, I mean, I know that you can tell, but just how difficult it is to tell. You can, but it's not like right away. You have to take a moment, especially with these people. They were really good at being like lifelike statues in a way, and then kind of coming to life. And so you would kind of catch yourself doing the is it not for a moment before they would kind of tip that hat. And so you had this happening on the one side, and we were having so much fun waving, and they were joking, and it was so delightful. And the boats were backed up just enough to where you could actually have a tiniest bit of dialogue as you were passing by them. You were moving by very slowly. And then you got to the jail scene itself, and there was the payoff. Cynthia had started the event telling you, I'm sorry, I can't make it. And then you get to this, and it was a skeleton in her burgundy jacket, tattered, and a Cynthia name badge on the skeleton. And I tell you, the buzz coming out of this event, while the merchandise part did very poorly, Cynthia's star just took off. This was such a way for her to connect with the fans. It was brilliant. It was really, really well done.
And it was free. It was free.
And it ended up being free. But at the time,
that's how my Light Magic event was. It was free.
But at the time, to be honest, like I say, I didn't go and buy a bunch of merchandise. And for me, I was like, the ticket price was worth it because they weren't doing things like this as much back then. You know, you had this after hours ride on the attraction. We saw fireworks first, and then we rode the attraction, as I recall. And to have the little additional elements to it, and then the presentation was so long, and it had entertainment and presentation. It was beautiful. It was really well done. And I'll stop.
And then they followed it up with the Haunted Mansion event, where the exact same problems happened again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
I realized that the Haunted Mansion was the CD first time. My friend got the CD who went to the Pirates, and I sent Doobie. I don't know if they can actually even show up on the screen. That is the entire CD booklet.
Yeah.
And Sam McKinn had signed. I'm pretty sure he hand signed most of them.
Yes.
And it was like the CD is still one of my favorites. And just going through the different track listings that they have on there, they did mega mixes. They gave recording sessions of the auction scene. Paul Frees doing the different voiceovers, the banjo. We had pirate karaoke. That was the instrumental, as heard in the Burning City with no vocals.
It was really incredible.
Yeah, it was the bonus tracks for that. The limited edition were the press conference with Walt Disney introducing Pirates, and then 2 of the audio commercials. It's that CD, that and the Haunted Mansion CD that came out for the next event are 2 of my prized possessions that are so prized. I don't know
where they are. They're probably with your Journey CD, your other prized possession. So after Paris, that was way back in 1992. Then we had a long break. There was no new Pirates for a long time, other than some really well-received yet quite boring movies. And then Shanghai in 2016. You like the Pirates movie, Shelley?
I did. I thought they were stupid fun movies.
They were great.
You're half right. So
First one, yes. Second one, okay. Third one I enjoyed. Fourth, does anybody remember that one? Fifth, when we did the movie club, we were all like, does anybody remember this movie?
Anyway, the first one was fine.
I haven't seen any of them.
Shanghai 2016. Once again, we thought Pirates is the greatest theme park of attraction of all time. Some people think Pirates has finally been surpassed by Pirates. So
Can't talk
I'm not even
pigs.
I'm not even going to bother this time. Jeremiah,
Thank you.
About Shanghai.
So Shanghai doesn't just have a Pirates ride. They have an entire land. In the land, they have a stunt show. The stunt show's the far right building. And I'm just going to start at the stunt show and work my way over. They also have canoes in there. Don't ask. But the stunt show, there's the canoes. And the two ships you can explore. Really fun. The stunt show, though, will never be seen anyplace else other than Shanghai. So book your trip out there. What it is, it's an actors guild performing the story of Jack Sparrow. So they don't have to cast an American playing Jack Sparrow. It is Asian people portraying Asian people. That came out wrong. Anyway, it's them portraying the story of Jack Sparrow. And the stunt shows are really great. Lots of fun. Very, very silly.
My favorite.
Well, don't worry. Tony will argue with you about it.
That's fine.
But at the end of the stunt show, they jump into a whirlwind. It's one of those not tunnels, but hi there. So they're actually fighting while floating on air.
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy.
No rigging, no nothing. Yeah, it can't be done anyplace else.
That's
Why not?
amazing. Well,
Does it
no,
have
I mean, you can do rigging
different kind of
sometimes.
air in Shanghai?
No, it's
Safety. There's no rigging on them. One of the actors dives off a platform into. I wish that I had my friend who actually was one of the pirates portrayed with friends. No, because that show takes place everywhere. Like that was one of the few things that we only got to see it once because it was so popular.
Wow.
But they dive off the pirate ship into a whirlwind and are floating, fighting each other.
Cool.
Oh, I want to see this show.
So cool.
Yeah.
Now I want to go to Shanghai Disneyland.
Yeah, DB's a shit show junkie.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then next to the stunt show,
Kebab.
they had the two ships that were out there that are explorer ships. You can go play. Behind the full masted ship is the entrance to the restaurant, which is a quick service, but does kind of serve as their Blue Bayou.
Did you hear
And
me?
then I didn't.
I told you he's over here starting to Google it already. I'm like, don't go down that rabbit hole yet. Wait until we're done here.
Yes.
Trying to find this show.
Pirates Battle for the Sunken Treasure is what it's called.
Oh, cool.
And
yes.
if I had to rank,
I love the way I really appreciate that the comments come up right over Jeremiah's face. That's my favorite part.
Oh, no,
no.
Yes, better.
if I had to rank worldwide, Pirates and Rise of the Resistance. Rise only is a little bit higher because Pirates depends on a lot of screens.
So does Rise.
But think of like the Soarin' Dome, but expand that 3 times. So when you get on the boat, and it's not pirates. It's not pirates.
That's Daniel's
pirates like normal, where it's a free floating boat. These are actual motion control boats. So you take off, you go past the bayou, and then you run into a skeleton that as you're going, okay.
I'm just going to show some
This is
pictures
your-
while you talk. So keep going.
Yeah. This is your boat. Here's the skeleton. As you pull into the scene, the skeleton's going, and this is on our, I believe, on our YouTube also. The boat actually turns toward the skeleton, and you start floating around it, and the skeleton then turns into Jack Sparrow.
Oh, that's cool.
Because what you see to pull the curtain behind the magic, you see a scrim of the skeleton, and then as it comes around, the scrim dissolves, and it's the Jack Sparrow animatronic that is so lifelike. And then you go down, you go under the water as you go backwards down the waterfall. You pull into the underwater scene, which is a giant dome.
He goes backwards down the waterfall?
Yeah.
Like,
back
Back over the falls.
Good at Maelstrom.
You see giant screens that's a ship graveyard. You pull into another scene, and the ships come alive because it's Davy Jones and Jack Sparrow. So they're bringing the ships up. Water hits you, your boat kind of moves a little bit, and the screens seem to drop, but it's actually just the projection bringing the water level down, and then you continue. And this scene right here is actually two giant ships. This was, probably the main shot that they kept showing for all the advertisement for this attraction. You go in between those two, and the ships in the distance are, again, screens that they're all fighting, and you see the giant ship in the distance sink because it gets struck.
Cool.
I'm going to anticipate Tony's question. How hard is it to get on the ride?
So opening day, I walked on the attraction. When I went the next day, I walked on the attraction.
Wow.
I don't know how it is currently. I don't have it on my app to tell me the wait times. But again, Disney thought, okay, this is going to be our signature attraction. They built a queue that rivals Indiana Jones, but it's even larger and lots of switchbacks. They had to start adjusting the switchbacks by like cutting off parts they could get a direct flow.
Is
because
this an AA
the queue,
sorry,
it is. That is after you go through, or before you go through the pirate ships. This is, Davy Jones, not the monkey, the squid, and he is playing the organ, and he turns and says something to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good picture. I didn't know that my picture came out that well.
I don't know that it's your picture.
Isn't
But
it? Didn't I send that to you?
I think it is.
Hi there.
Well,
What am I doing?
I don't know.
I
That was very shocking.
Goodness me.
All of a sudden.
After you go through the pirate ships, you come around and Jack and Davy are fighting in the back of a ship, and Jack jumps on a cannon and he fires a cannonball. It hits the wall, which is underwater, and then a flood starts, and the flood comes off the screen and pushes you back, and that's how you finish the ride.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Amazing.
It is. There are so many amazing things. Again, if it wasn't for the massive screens, which I don't complain about, but there's always that little bit of
You don't
that
complain
was
about
also.
You've mentioned it 4 times, but you don't complain.
Remember I know Shelley remembers this, the Jack Sparrow attraction that was in Disney's Hollywood Studios that used the projection mapping?
Yeah.
That was designed for Shanghai. So that's how, when you're going through on the ships and everything, they do projection mapping.
That was
that a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was in essence them kind of what?
You liked the attraction, or
did
you
too.
liked the Jack Sparrow figure there?
I liked both.
It wasn't. It was not.
It was
Wait.
just fun.
That was the worst attraction Disney has
No.
ever.
You're so wrong.
No, I agree. The walkthrough, that was horrible. It was, you stood in there and you just kind of turned around and saw projection mapping. It was like, oh, that's great.
It was impressive and enjoyable. Go ahead, Shelley. I agree with you. I'm backing you up on
I
that.
don't feel like I went into it going, okay, this is an attraction. Like, I feel like I went in going, this is an experience. It's like when they list an entertainment thing as an attraction, you're like, clearly not an attraction. That's clearly an experience.
Yeah.
I didn't go in like being like, oh, this wow me. Like, I went in just being like,
Wait.
okay.
Rewind. Can you do that again? You didn't go in like what? Okay.
But like,
we now have an
it
intro.
was enjoyable for what it was.
I agree.
I
I went
don't.
in there expecting to experience like a Jack Sparrow encounter.
I went
and
in.
I left getting a Jack Sparrow.
I had done the
Sparrow
Haunted
encounter.
thing. I had done the Narnia thing, and I thought this was going to be up to that low
Oh
level.
no, the talking skull at the beginning was horrible.
It didn't come close. The only thing it had going for it was, wow, that Jack Sparrow is amazing, and that's the reason they did it. It was R&D. It was a test run on that, and that's fine. But as an attraction on its own,
So of the
No, there wasn't a Jack Sparrow figure. That was all projection.
well,
Right.
that's what I mean. The Jack
Okay.
Sparrow thing. Yes,
So-
Tony. Yes.
So Jeremiah, of those three,
Haterade. There's a lot of haterade now
it
being
was
drank.
Mansion. They did Haunted Mansion in that building. They did Narnia in that building, and they
They did Narnia in that building. They did
Yeah.
2 of the Narnias.
That's right. 2 Narnias, and then
Double Narnia.
Would you rank this as the worst of the 4 experiences that they gave you there?
I only appreciate it because of the projection. I mean I know Doobie likes it now more as a DVC booth and a walkaway than the attraction, but
Okay, but rank it.
no, I
Like,
enjoyed the Haunted Mansion was the coolest because before the movie came out, it was cool.
Yeah.
Narnia was kind of like you stood there and you just heard, and
It had the White Witch.
it had the statues.
It had the White Witch, like a real lady.
See, I think I appreciated Mansion the most because it got me excited for a movie that then was disappointing.
Yeah.
And then this I thought was impressive, and
Yeah.
I wasn't as big of a. I mean, I didn't.
It
I
had
would
a real
rather-
White Witch.
If I had to pick, I would rather re-experience this than the Narnia ones.
Shelley,
Well,
I would rather re-experience when they gave out the Star Wars weekend posters there.
no, I would rather re-experience the walkthrough from the studio tour than either of those, because that's where the
Oh,
bee
not
was, and
Yeah.
the last
That's it.
thing that they had in there was the 101 Dalmatians mansion.
I remember that. Too.
I would rather experience a rope drop trying to get Rise of the Resistance virtual fast pass with Tony Betty by my side. than
Ooh.
Pirates of the
You may not. It's just theoretical. You don't know what that's like in reality.
So, Pirates of the Caribbean, we've been through the attractions. It obviously spawned a humongously successful series of movies. So, the first of Haunted Mansion came before Pirates, right?
Yeah.
So, Haunted Mansion came, that movie was a bust. People laughed their heads off at the concept of pirates spawning a movie.
Oh.
And had this not been a good movie, that could have been the end of this whole thing. So, in the words of Jeremiah, if not for the success of Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, we would not have this now trend of sorry, just reading Tony's comment. This trend of turning attractions into movies, but they did it with Pirates. Huge success, great franchise, to the point where they realized that people were coming to the parks to ride this ride based on the attraction, not even realizing the attraction came first. And where's Jack Sparrow? So in 2011,
1920.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
in 2006, actually it's 2006 is the first year that they added some characters from the movie to the original attraction, much to the delight and joy of the diehard fans, as I recall. So that is when Johnny
I
Depp,
don't remember the fans being happy with that.
I was about to say, I don't think that's exactly how that went.
the fans may not have been happy. I think they're happy now, though, because in intervening years, they've done even more enhancements with the movies that I probably would not have happened. But Johnny Depp was added in 2006. And then in 2011, they, dude, come on, dude. In 2011,
I'm looking for a
Dude,
picture.
come on.
they added Davy Jones in Blackbeard as an alternate in Disneyland, Blackbeard at the Magic Kingdom, and Davy Jones in Tokyo, and that's the when you first leave and the waterfall effect, correct, Jeremiah?
Yeah,
and that's what turned Pirates from a not good ride to a passable ride. That first effect where it looks like you're going through the waterfall is quite cool. I'm a huge fan of that. What?
That effect for me was like a real like, oh, this is horrible.
Really?
But funny when that it was just kind of cheap to me. And when they were doing that was a major refurbishment for California also. And I was able to get a walkthrough, and they could only take us to see that. I know, to see that scene, and they showed it to us. So it's coming down. This is the part where I think it looks the worst. It's coming down there, no boats going. They actually had bubbles that came up, so it looked like the water was flowing into the water. So it was supposed to be a real waterfall. It looked amazing. And then as soon as the first boat went by, it was the rat effect from Indiana Jones, not as good.
Sure, you say so.
See, I guess there was enough reset time when we first experienced it because it seemed I was impressed at its density. Because I was expecting something kind of like, Phantasmic, but on a small scale as far as the visual. But when we were on the attraction, I felt like, wow, that actually looks like a waterfall with this guy, eerie, ethereal head talking to me the first time I experienced it. So maybe we lucked out in the reset time before our boat encountered it.
Okay, Shelley.
That is true.
Break the tie, Shelley. Is it good?
I mean, I have like a really huge soft spot for Pirates, so most thing I'm gonna be like, I really like it. Like, but I do agree. Oh, bye. I do agree that if you don't hit the reset time right, then it's just a wonky experience altogether. It's just like, what is this? And I wish, and sometimes when they were running like boats, like right after each other, and it would be like, what? Like, am I supposed to see that now? Am I not supposed to see that now? But I mean, I think that I really enjoyed the effect when I got to experience it the right way. But I can see where it's wonky if it doesn't work the right way.
Well, Doobie, you guys can go to Tokyo. They still have it there. Thankfully, it's removed from all the other parks.
Oh, seriously? I haven't been on the attraction.
I didn't even
in a
know
while.
it was gone from the other
gone.
park. Spoiler alert, Jeremiah. Thanks.
Wow.
Couldn't wait to read
It's been gone from Disneyland for a while.
Yeah.
I don't get to ride Pirates very much anymore because I go to the park with a man who does not enjoy Pirates and a son who is not inclined to want to go on something with a drop. So I haven't been on Pirates in a really long time.
We're going next
ditch
month.
them in order to experience.
Wait, Disneyland's opening next month?
No, Florida.
Florida.
Shut up, Jeremiah.
Florida.
So I forgot to mention some other changes. In 1997, to get back on. In 1997, there was a major change added to Pirates of the Caribbean, and that was the pirates switched from chasing women to chasing food. And also at the same time, the poop pirate, whose monologue there was perhaps not the most appropriate thing in the world, was changed. So he was a gluttonous pirate. And that created some waves in the fan community, as I recall. Do you remember this time in Disney fandom? Well, this is very early in Disney fandom. So this may have been even the first big controversy among Disney fans.
Yeah, because I can remember the LA Times doing articles, and that like spread like wildfire because, how dare they PC it? And now we're at the point where they're where the. No, I wasn't going to. No, it's
here. Let me jump in real quick. It was fascinating at this 2000 Pirates event. Some of the talking points at the event, and I say talking points because I'm still torn as to whether or not I totally buy into the narrative.
Yes.
That there was some technology and advancements that Imagineering got excited about and wanted to bring into the attraction, and the PCing was not meant to be the main talking point of what happened. And a media event, I'm
talk about dig a little deeper.
I'm out there. and the talk was that they had this technology, they wanted to move forward with it, and the focus wasn't the removal of those scenes or whatnot. It was actually this other element, and then that kind of ended up the main focal point of what was brought on. And I mean, and I know with in defense, I can point to the pooped pirates, like the rum spilling out and things like that. As I recall, there were those kinds of enhancements with it. But what's funny is right around that time, Theme Park Adventure came out with this dedicated how many pages, like 165 page book, and it has a lot of those like stories that aren't necessarily going to make it in something that's a Disney Editions title. And one of the things that cracked me up was they talked to Alice Davis and Mark and about this topic of the PC. And one of the things that Alice said that she was kind of disappointed that they hadn't done was that she wanted to create a brassiere type thing that so when the women would move, they would bounce. I'm trying to envision what this ride would have been like if for all those decades you had these bouncing bosoms.
Maybe I would have liked it more.
So one of the other changes that happened during that coincided with World of Motion closing. They brought over animatronics from World of Motion at Epcot and put them in Pirates of the Caribbean. The horse, they put in a lot of the when you're going past the Wicked Winch, the ship, and you looked up, they used to have heads popping up to look and see what they were shooting, and they were animatronic heads from World of Motion. So that worked out well. And that was definitely one of the nice things about the change, where they had the horse and the guy with the apples. So that change, I think that change was probably the worst.
In researching this, everything melds together when you're 49 years old. So I had not remembered that there was the 97 thing to PC it. But then 2 years later, they did a major refurb. Sorry, my son. They did a major refurb where they just went through the ride start to finish in Disneyland and made major changes. And we interviewed at that time former Imagineer Bob Baranek, but he came back to be a consultant on that refurb. So we had a long interview with him, and he literally just took us scene by scene through the ride, talking about every change they made. And so, if you go down there, if I'm doing my job, I can link you to that interview.
We'll have show notes this week. We've been talking about so much stuff.
I read that interview real quick, and just one of my favorite things was I said, so the hidden Mickey made by the ship's captain isn't there. I did the interview, isn't there anymore. And he said, that was intentional. And I expected to get a lot of criticism for that, but I was very adamant about losing that. And I said, because you didn't like the way it looked in general, or you didn't like the hidden Mickey? And he said, it wasn't so much the Mickey, it was just the horrible lighting on the figure. So that cracked me up just reading that real quick. So yeah, that was a major refurb in '99, and we've got a good story on that one. We're going to learn some about Disneyland's history. And then in 2012, another cool thing that I'm sure Jeremiah doesn't like, they added the Mermaids. Do you like the Mermaids, Jeremiah?
No, I love the Mermaids. Okay, those were great. I mean, sadly, they were only here at Magic Kingdom, and the effect that had them kind of swimming on the water level was great for the amount of rocket rod time it lasted.
The 2.5 weeks it lasted. It added such an eerie, like creepy, like vibe to the area. Oh, I loved it.
Wow.
So, and then just a couple more things brought about from Pirates. The Red Walk Around actually created a new. I'm trying to think. Is this? No, it wouldn't be. But one of the few face character walk-arounds that come out of an attraction as opposed to a movie. I can think of Dreamfinder. I'm not sure I can think of any more. Probably if I thought really hard. But there's like no Uncle Orville walk-around from Carousel of Progress.
No privacy at all around this.
There should just be a random guy walking around the park yelling at people.
No privacy at all.
Right.
So that's pretty cool that Red became, she got a whole new
like focal point now with
Yeah.
the way the auction scene has been revisioned in recent years.
Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Red has
And then-
turned into quite a superwoman.
And they expect her to be heavily featured, right? If the franchise moves forward, or were those just hopes and dreams of people? I sometimes I forget what was rumor.
Ouch.
what was-
It's rumor still that Harley Quinn is going to be Red. Yeah.
Harlequin, the romance novels. And
Yes.
Red also got a cool drink. What was that drink called, Jeremiah?
Oh, the Red's Revenge.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was a
Red
weird
Fanta and Red. It tastes very much like the Headless Horseman drink,
Yes.
but it doesn't have the chocolate hat
It has
that
a
they
hat.
had on it.
Red chocolate hat.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Very
Yeah.
memorable.
It's still the name on my phone.
What?
My phone is named Reds.
Really?
Oh, that's cute.
Aw.
Yeah, Jeremiah did it.
Oh, that's so thoughtful.
Yeah, it was real thoughtful.
And then the whole pirate franchise is now extended to the cruise ships, where they have
Pirate Night.
pirates in the Caribbean, and that's where
Shelly got her
Shelley heard.
bandana.
and that's why I've got mine, so I could wear it on Pirate Night, which is
Yeah.
always a wonderful night on the cruise ship. That may be never mind.
Okay, Juby does not have any interest at all when it comes to pirates, so I have to go and enjoy the pirate thing all by. Usually, I leave him
The
and I
menu's
go
bad.
to the party by myself because I love fireworks. So I go find somewhere on the ship to watch fireworks. He usually goes to a movie, so I go up and I enjoy the
No, because
pirate
they're playing
fun.
pirates.
Oh yeah, they are.
I just
He
go find-
sits in the room and watches Disney Plus before his Disney Plus.
To be honest with you, I think one year he finally decided, I've never seen Home on the Range. I think I'm just going to stay in the room. Home on the Range.
I have zero pirate affinity. I'm sorry.
So I go find somewhere on the ship to enjoy the pirate fun. I go up to the party for just a little while, but then I like to go find somewhere on the deck to enjoy the fireworks, but not where the music is also playing. So I like go towards like the front of the ship or wherever. I can't remember if it's front of the ship, back of the ship. I can't remember. But I find some
That's
fun.
bow and that's stern.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that. I mean literally. I can't remember which direction on the ship I go.
Jeremiah, have you been on a cruise too? Okay.
So it's a fun night. It's a fun night though, because especially if you're fortunate enough to get your pirate night in Animator's palette, the decor in there is remarkable because
It
the
is.
room is just full of Mark Davis's. Okay, the last time we cruised, things changed.
Well, not
But
now.
Mark Davis's artwork, and so just throughout your meal, you're just graced with these amazing vignettes that he created. And once again, his artwork is like it's a single scene, and yet somehow it's an entire story. And it's just, yeah, I love to be there for that, and I love it if you end up there for your checkout party, your checkout breakfast,
Right.
because then my memory is you get lots of like delightful princess getting ready kind of stuff. I remember like
I feel like-
Cinderella with the birds.
I feel like we need to put the cruise on the wheel. So just one day
Yeah, I
we can
know.
just have
We
the
can just talk
cruise
about the
as our
cruise.
thing, because
Oh,
we'll never
Yeah.
end. That is by far my favorite thing. Okay, wait. Tony Betty has something to say. I'm going to put it up without reading it first. I go to the hot tub in the adults area where there's no pirates music and screaming children.
there you
I
go.
can't disagree with you there, Tony. And then you arrive and ruin it for all of us. But
I have like a pirate's night's dress and like I have like a whole get up. Like it's my favorite night. It's the best night.
why didn't you wear
I
it?
need to go on a cruise with
I could
Shelley.
have worn it.
I need to go on a cruise with Shelly.
We do.
Really.
Hey, dig a little deeper
No,
cruise.
no, Jeremiah goes. Jeremiah can go to Paris or whatever. I'm trying.
Dig a little deeper cruise.
I love cruises.
You'll be busy off at Shanghai or Paris if once we're able to travel again. So we'll go.
Jeremiah is an excellent cruise buddy. He's a
Is he?
Why?
We go get ice cream together,
Oh, that's awesome.
eat together, and we make fun of people. It's fantastic.
Oh, nice cruising.
I wonder if he would be.
Well,
He's a
my favorite
fantastic travel buddy.
thing to do on a cruise is to skip formal night and to just ride the aqueduct or coaster over and over
I love
That's-
formal.
night long.
I love
I
formal.
skip Nassau and I don't dress formal.
I love it.
I love formal night, and I love to dress up,
Yeah,
but I never get off the ship. I don't even want to get off in Castaway Key.
So,
Oh,
it's so sad. No, I have to drag him off the
snorkeling at Castaway is probably one of the highlights of my life.
We have become adult beach people now. When we get off, we head over to the adult beach now. Relax, take the thing. You can like walk out 400 feet in that water.
It was so
No, you gotta go. You gotta do the race in the morning, and then you gotta ride your bike around, and you guys snorkeling.
Wait, we're jumping on a cruise wheel already.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I got all excited.
Once I start talking cruise, I never ever want to stop. Yes, your
Go
first
back to Pirates.
cruise. Every cruise you take, Amy, should be a Disney cruise for sure. I love cruising. We need to talk cruising for like a 3-hour special where we just talk cruising.
Just from beginning to end. We just did like a week, like every day for like
That's
a
true.
week. We just did the cruise.
Tony Betty has a statement on the cruise. Thank you, Tony. Let's see. Oh, and then I know since we're a little bit off topic right now, I wanted to mention, I asked in that same interview with Bob Meredith we talked about, I said, and we were talking about future rehabs. He said, Indy's going to get a rehab as the first one ever. And I said, can we expect to see the Falling Rocks come back in Indy? And he just gave the one-word answer, no. And that
Okay, so I have a question back on the Pirates train.
About cruising? Oh.
Wait, no, Pirates is on a boat, not on a train.
It goes under a train, though.
But only in Disneyland and Magic Kingdom.
We are. Sorry. Go, Shelley.
Anywho, if you could build your perfect, like, Frankenstein pirates of, like, all the pirates in the world, I know Jeremiah's the only one that's done it, but we've all seen the videos, like, what would be, like, the key elements that you would want to, like, Frankenstein together to make the perfect pirates?
That's a good question, Shelley.
I think I still like the Disneyland beginning. I'm going to start there because I like the bayou and I like the lightning bugs. And I like that, like, feel as you're going in. But the fort sounds really cool in here. Jeremiah, if you don't talk, I know what you
I'm going to answer because my answer is shorter because I've only done 2 of them. Did I mute him? No. I'm going to go with the Blue Bayou. The Blue Bayou is cool. And then get to the firing pirates because that's cool. And then the doggy with the key. And then get off. Perfect ride.
A 3-minute ride.
I like the Disneyland doggy more than the Walt Disney World doggy.
I didn't learn they were different until like a couple weeks ago.
The Walt Disney World doggy to me looks like
his mange.
They look
he doesn't look right.
They look like the dogs that you see on the Kilimanjaro Safari. They're like a hyena type dog.
The painted dogs.
Yeah, he looks more like a wild than a domesticated.
So in Shanghai, because you start in the afterlife and the skeletons, you actually go past the jail cell with the pirates, and the dog they're all skeletons, and he still has a key in his mouth, and he's sitting there. That was probably one of my favorite things in the entire scene.
That's cool. Are you gonna answer the question?
Yes, I would keep Disneyland almost as a whole, but add in I would love to see the dueling pirates put in, which I don't know how difficult it would really be, and then just take out Jack at the end. We don't need Jack and the parrot singing.
No.
See, that's been my confusion. Okay, so here, let me give you guys my point. Can you move the mouse off my face? It's frustrating. Thank you. No, take it off Jeremiah's face too. Okay, so here's the thing. When I was little and I rode Pirates of the Caribbean, I often thought of it as being like a story, because it was like you would go and it was like, be careful, dead men tell no tales, right? So first you see this part with these dead men who can't tell any tales, right?
Oh.
And so it was like, that was my warning. Beware, behave yourself, or you will end up like this, okay? And then we would go and we would end up in this town and we would see what they weren't able to tell us, right? They can't tell you about these terrible people. that you're now going to encounter. If they were alive, they'd be able to warn you about those people. They'd see they were wicked and they were wicked. And so then you would go there and then you would experience these people and then you would end up being safe. That was how I envisioned it. I envisioned it. It was kind of like this story. And so it was, so in a way it was like, it wasn't a linear tale in that it was like, and here's a moment, and then 20 minutes later, this is what's going to happen. And then 20 minutes later, this is what's going to, it was like, this is all happening at this moment. These people were evil and they met their doom. These people are currently practicing evil and they will meet that doom and you hopefully will escape. But so when they added Captain Jack, for me, it was very confusing because I didn't understand how I could see Jack in this scene, but then also see Jack in that scene or in that scene, because to me, when I rode the ride before, all of that was happening simultaneously, like in a concurrent timeline. And so so it felt like I was seeing the same. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes. You saw it as a timeline, not just the vignettes.
Yeah, but they were all happening like in that.
You saw it as vignettes.
No, I saw it as vignettes. Like this was a moment in time, and I was being exposed to each one.
But they were all happening.
But they were all happening.
Yes. Flip what I said.
Yeah. Yes. And so then when they added Jack, I was like, wait, how can he be here? Because while this is happening, that's happening over there. So I don't understand. So yeah, it was one of those things. So yeah, so I just had to share because I still get. It's like the thing with the Carousel of Progress when I was
going to ask that. Don't let them refresh this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, one Jack. That's what makes sense to me. But I guess I'm supposed to view this ride differently than I had. Now it's like there's this warning, and they come to life, and it's this whole. They totally changed what the ride is. I don't get it yet. I need to ride it a few more times before I get what it is now.
I get it.
Just stop. What were you gonna say?
All right, quick question for you guys. This is right on topic. Carousel of Progress. One family through the years, or 4 different families?
One family, and they sent the daughter off for adoption.
Because that's not what the TTA says, right?
I believe you're correct. What does the TTA say?
No, there was something one time we were on the. I'm pretty sure we were on the People Mover, and this. Now you see, I thought you were all ready to go since you brought it up.
It should have been.
Yeah, it says something about experiencing our families through the years, or
it's just a plural of family, and I'm like, wait,
we're a single family.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, it says inside this welcoming building, 4 families welcome you into their homes.
Like 4 families.
This is not 4 families. This is one family.
Is it one family?
But when do we talk to the people that thought it was 4 families?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
I think it's one family, 4 generations.
Okay. Wait.
Oh, see.
Wait, 4 generations. So it's not.
So it's like John Jr., John the 3rd.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. Wow. I think we're seeing the same family just put in 4 different time periods.
Like time travel?
Well,
in a sense, and yeah, you know, it's not real, Shelley. It's possible.
No, what? I thought it was supposed to be like, here's John if he was born in this era, and here's John and his family if they were born in this era, and here's John if they were born in this era.
I like that Gideon knew the line without me having to look it up. Thank you, Gideon.
4 families welcome you.
Well, they all don't have the same name. They all have different versions of the same name.
Because of different eras, you kind of, Wait, Jeremiah doesn't work in 2020.
They have versions of names that are different?
Yeah, Patricia is Patty at one point.
Well, I thought that was more reflective. Okay, yeah, I guess. Cool. Okay, I got you. No. Patricia and then Patty. You're right.
So what do you think, Jeremiah? Is it 1 family or 4 families?
It's 1. It's just.
They take it to the next level. Look, they think that at the end, it's that Grandpa, that guy is the guy that you'd seen earlier in the show who's talking about, I remember.
No, Grandpa was the original John. So the guy whose grandpa was the voice of the original John from 64-65 World's Fair. At some point, we'll do Carousel of Progress, and there'll be a deep dive into that.
I would say create a chart.
We have to dive into that because I'm telling you, I'll wait. Like I said,
let's dig a little deeper into Carousel of Progress.
I thought it was always just one, and then so yeah. So there
good. It's more interesting than Pirates, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I can't believe it.
It does have my favorite line in any attraction that I will not say currently because it comes out of context and it's bad.
No, I understand.
No, don't say it. It's bad.
No, he can't say it in current context. No, it would not be. I understand certain lines in that attraction just randomly spoken in general society, not a good plan.
You know my favorite line, which is okay to say in general society? Go out and give that neighbor of ours what for. I love that.
Are we wrapping up on pirates? Because I have a couple of Easter eggs.
Yes, please. Do.
Yeah.
Lay them on us, Jeremiah.
Oh, and by the way, Shelly, be thinking of 2 attractions that you want to have covered in that I can put on the wheel.
I want some
Okay.
credit for saying
Speaking of
lay
that.
them on us when he said he has Easter eggs.
No.
Go, Jeremiah.
I don't know what that means.
I thought he was
Lay eggs?
I thought he was about to play into your ridiculous joke and
You said you had Easter eggs.
or
I
something.
said lay them on us. Lay the eggs. Get it? Shall I demonstrate for you?
So we're going to the original Pirates of the Caribbean. Most of us know, anybody that's a Disney fan has heard the stories of when they had to get the building code. Hang on, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, Jeremiah can roll his eyes.
Oh.
Woo.
When they had to get the building approved, they actually had to shut off the fire sequence in the town burning because the fire department came in and they couldn't tell that it was fake. This was 1967, so they hadn't seen that effect. But in order for the fire department, they had to turn off all the effects so the fire department could give the approval for the building. In the treasure room, with the skeleton sitting on top of all the treasure, they actually have the cursed treasure chest from the first Pirates of the Caribbean. That's the actual prop from the movie on display in there.
Oh, very
When you're
cool.
about to come out, that's that. But one of the coolest things is in 1967, they didn't have the ability to make a lot of fake skeletons. So they went to the UCLA Medical Center, and those were real skeletons in the building.
That's not a good
Well, they were donated. They weren't. But through the years,
did you know this from memory, or did you bone up on this before doing this show?
you have to ask that, Doobie.
That's the dumbest joke ever.
Bone up.
This is the silliest joke. So embarrassing.
Okay, so the captain's quarters. I'm so glad my battery's about to die on my laptop too. In the captain's quarters, there's the captain looking at the map through the magnifying glass. On the back of the bed, there's also skull and crossbones. That skull is actually one of the original skeletons from 1967. So it is a real human skull.
As Donna let us know. Thank you, Donna. I'm sorry. Thank you, Disneyland 155. We don't know all of our commenters by name, but actually we do.
Also, I don't know if you guys have been on Pirates since they added, but in the last refurbishment at Disneyland, when you're coming out of the Dead Men Tell No Tales tunnel before you see the Wicked Winch, they added in an effect where as you're coming, you see a skull that's like in prison, but as you start to get close to it and you see it, it turns human. So it's kind of the transition point between the dead and the living. So there you go, Rebecca. There's your continuation of how the storyline continues.
Yep. Like I say, I haven't ridden it enough to have that cemented in my head. It's like one of those things when you've ridden it so many times in your youth, and then I've done this to my son a few times where, and this ride it is this and this and this, and then we go on and it's nothing, so much of it has changed, and I just forgot. Oh yeah, they changed it 10 years ago. And I totally forgot. It's locked into those childhood memories. So
I remember the first one went on the rocket rides, and I'm like, where's the super speed tunnel?
Okay, so we're getting ready to spin the wheel, but I'm gonna ask you guys to each give me 2 attractions and don't repeat. So Shelly, give me 2 attractions.
Carousel of Progress and why am I doing this? Storybook Canal Boats.
Okay.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Oh, come on.
We've already done Casey Jr.
Casey Jr.'s coming around.
She said canal boats.
Yes. How
That's
about
okay.
you?
I'm still singing If You Had Wings.
Okay, Jeremiah.
Let's do Tower of Terror and Space Mountain.
Ooh.
Okay, Doobie.
Let's do
Great
Tower of
movie ride.
Terror, but I can't because you just did it.
Very good.
Rock and Roller Coaster,
Okay.
and It's a Small World.
Okay, hang on. RNR. Okay, and then you said ISAW, and then and it changed it to Oasis, which is not correct. Let me try that.
Oasis. I love that band.
Wait a minute.
Great idea. Wait a minute.
W. Okay. And then that's it. There we go. Okay.
Do we have any viewers that want to throw in any?
2 suggestions. Okay, what are they?
What's already on there?
Carousel, canal boats, tower, Space Mountain, rock and roller coaster, Small World.
Okay, well, I want a great movie ride
Okay,
and
let's hold off on that one until we get back. Give me another one.
and
If you had wings.
Carousel Process?
If you
We said that one.
Okay.
Pick 2 other ones.
Donna said If You Had Wings. Do we
If you
wanna
had
give-
wings, you want to try that one?
No, I've never done it.
Oh, okay.
That
Now, Jurassic Park Adventure.
No.
Yeah.
Come on, Giddy. If you want to do one, you can.
I'll actually pick my song.
I've been singing it this whole time.
Did we do
Jungle Cruise. No, we have not done Jungle
Okay,
Cruise. That is a
Jungle
great
Cruise
one. That is a great one.
Dinosaur.
And Dinosaur, another great
Dinosaur.
one. All right. We've got another one from the audience, Country Bears.
And I will add Country Bears.
We need another suggestion.
No, that's
No,
enough.
we're
That's
good.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
May I
Where
sing?
we land.
Yes.
come on, Circle Vision.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna put up to the. Oh wait. Okay, so there we go. Can you see? Oh, there we go.
They can't read the words.
It's okay. I can move it up once it's spinning.
Just want to show we're authentic here.
You can see at the top.
There it is. We are doing
Country Bear Jamboree.
Love that one. Love that one. That one's going to be fun. Awesome. So apparently next week we're going to be doing Country Bear Jamboree. You'll want to tune in next week because we're going to make sure it's an incredible show because we have a 3-week break right after that for reading.
I think
Hush, hush.
it'll barely be good.
Barely.
I don't get it.
Barely.
Wait.
You're not going to get my
Barely.
if you're not going to get my lay the egg joke, I'm not going to get your Country Bear joke.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
So we would like to remind you, like this stream,
It's been good to have you.
subscribe to us. Normally tomorrow we would have a Disney Park Talk live, but we won't be tomorrow because one of our people is actually going to be live in the park or near the park, downtown Disney. So we're actually going to be doing that Tuesday at 4 p.m. this week. And then, of course, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., all time specific, we will be doing Disney Trivia Live, which since we last talked to you, no, that's not. That was before we last talked to you. So never mind.
No, it's since we last talked to you. That was Saturday.
Oh, yeah, it was Tuesday. You're right. So
Tuesday.
Jeremiah graced us with this presence, and I have no doubt you remember to make sure we mention this. In a Disney Trivia Live last Tuesday, the first time he's come in, and true to his reputation as the number 2 finisher in the
No, he was really the number 1 finisher because it's
No. I was going to say his reputation as the number 2 finisher in the D23 trivia contest.
Oh, gotcha.
He came in our very first trivia contest. Jeremiah won.
Yes, Jeremiah.
And then I came in third on your next one because of that trick question.
It was not a trick question. It was not a trick question. So, Luke, the internet connection was not our fault. It worked for some people. That was on YouTube's end this time. So,
Oh no, it was the put them in order one.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they came up in order. And
Yeah.
you thought, no, can't be right. But it was.
Yeah. But Saturday night, it seemed like half of the audience that was on the West Coast had trouble with the video, whereas the audience on the East Coast didn't have any trouble. So it was
Oh,
very
I missed it.
Yeah, no, it was weird. It was fascinating.
But it was a fun night anyway.
Yep.
So you always want to tune in for Disney Trivia Live. It's actually a fun show. Donna can tell you it is.
Yeah, we have a fun time.
Let's see. I think that's it that I want to mention.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for
Yes.
sticking with us for Pirates of the
Thanks
Caribbean.
for bearing with us.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And if you have Country Bear info, pictures, whatever, send them over this way. Where should they send them, Dewey?
Send it to what do we call it? dig@laughingplace.com. dig@laughingplace.com.
Yeah, and we'll happily share your memories or your photos from Country Bears. Focus is Country Bears.
Yes. Oh, speaking of memories to share, I wanted to share this real quick before we left. Where'd it go? There it is. There's Tony's socks. Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Will you guys go into detail about the Country Bear movie?
I know nothing
No.
about
Country. There was a
I've
movie
never
with
heard
Country
of it.
Bears.
I blocked that out. Like it
Never
didn't
heard of
happen.
it.
I know somebody that
Sorry.
could probably talk about it pretty well.
I know nothing about it.
We will definitely touch on the Country Bear movie, another movie spawned by an attraction. Tony says why. Here's why, Tony.
Are you kidding me, Tony? Are you
That was
serious?
Because we
the
like
first
you.
one.
And in case you're wondering
Country
who
Bears
Tony is, there's Tony.
was the first. Country Bears was the first Disney film
That's right.
inspired by an attraction.
I don't know. I think Mansion was first. Oh, see, now I'm gonna be. Ruby's gonna check.
I don't know if I ever
Yeah,
want to question
no.
Jeremiah. Country Bear movie.
2002.
Thank you.
No
Haunted
worries.
Mansion 2003.
Gideon says Haunted Mansion 2003. Let's see if he's right. Yep, 2000. Oh, Jeremiah's right.
And then
Why did I question Jeremiah? Why?
We should know better.
Tuesday, though, we will also be live from the Magic Kingdom for their first day of Halloween decorations.
Woohoo!
Oh, that's a good point. Tower of Terror movie.
The goo!
But that wasn't
Oh.
that was a TV.
That's true.
That was just TV.
Every time I see this picture, it looks like he's in the submarines. Is that where?
He
He's,
is in
he
the
is in the submarine.
submarines. That's why.
That would be why it looks like it. And you know what socks he's wearing?
He's wearing these.
You know what? What I love? I'm not sure if the dirty is theming
It's just a shadow.
or if he's just got dirty
It's
socks on.
just a shadow. Stop it.
They're creeping around Tony's.
Time for what time was she? What did we last say we were doing?
I think the
Jeremiah?
Disneyland one. I believe. What time is Mike doing Downtown Disney?
I believe it's the afternoon, our time.
Tuesday.
Magic Kingdom. We'll be doing, I believe, the noon.
Okay, 1.
My time, 9 your time.
Okay. And our show on Tuesday will be at 4 p.m. That's a 4 p.m. show. Normally Mondays, but this week Tuesdays. This week Tuesday. I am confusing myself. Does anyone? Oh, okay. I want to show this picture real quick. This is from one of our readers who also is a listener. Downloads.
Just hold up. DB's slow at this stuff.
I am so slow. You talk amongst yourselves. Entertain the people.
We have nothing to say to each other. We've been talking.
Yeah, I lost it. I'm sorry. All right.
You can find it. We can find the
There's
picture.
the payoff.
Yep, you got it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See
Bye,
you next
everybody.
time. Country Bears.
Wait, I'm waving with my right hand.
You got to push the button up there.
Push it with my left hand.
There you go. It's right there. Do it. It's right there. It's you're reaching. Oh, so close. Oh.
Are you sure?